So Empires of the North is one of my favorite deck builders. We are really enjoying it. If you like Imperial Settlers, the original game, I think this game fixes a lot of the challenges. I just thought I would do this quick unboxing. And then I wanted to come back and I wanted to talk about the two factions and what they are trying to accomplish. So first, let's get the plastic wrap off here. Of course. And let's open up the Roman banners. This just came out, I think a week ago, maybe. And so I'll leave that there, I guess. So some rule updates, of course, just like the other expansions, the Japanese expansions. Every clan has 2 ships. We have the new markers or tokens for the 2 clans and some different colors, so that's good. And all the cards are lumped together here. So let me do this. Oh, I got some plastic bags is always nice. I always enjoy when companies do that. So let me do this. Let me open these up. I'll kind of sort them out, and then we will kind of go from there. So the first clan that is in the box is the Trahana clan. And so this is saying that it is a difficulty 7. I think these difficulties are actually pretty on par when we look at some of the mechanics and whatnot that that you need to learn and how the cards really interact with each other. What I like about so far with the theme of this deck, and although I haven't played either one of these, but just from looking through all the cards and kind of reading the new abilities, is that we have resources, we have people, we have ways of attacking. We're going to go do whatever we want no matter what anybody says. And that really feels like a militaristic Roman kind of way to do things. Whereas the other clan we're going to review is more like the Senate and the political side. This represents more the military aspect of it. The first new ability that they have is there's a new cost type. And so if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that this wood symbol, everything that they have, everything they do is kind of represented by a type of card, or a type of, just like the type of card, everything that is tied to some type of resource. And so for this card, it says spend to build, spend 1 wood for each of these symbols that you have, so including this one. So in this situation, if we were to build this, we would just pay 1 wood. But if we had multiple out there, now we would pay 2 wood, and so on and so forth. So things get more expensive as you go. Some cool things that I really like about this is they break the rules, because why not? They're a Roman military. Nobody's going to stop them. So for this new tactics card, it says spend 1 worker and 1 resource matching the type you have the most of in your empire, and you get to move one of your spent action tokens to an adjacent tile and activate it and ignore the card effect. But you get to actually then activate a spent worker. You get an additional action on a spent action token. It's just basically saying, yeah, we're gonna do whatever we want, and the art kind of says that, right? Yeah, we're gonna just, oh, we can't go through there, or let me catapult this soldier into your back lines, and we'll see how that works. So it's kind of interesting because it forces its way through. I thought this was another one, and this is kind of how they're really going to get at, I think, building their your bonus points and whatnot. Is spend 1 for each wood production or wood in your empire, and 1 worker, and you gain 3 you get 3 victory points, and then the building bonus to this, you get a gold. So you're always kind of getting gold and things like that with this deck. So there's a lot of cards that synergize. If we look through a couple of different ones, there's of course a lot of upgrades and supplies as normal. This one is an instant, and it's gain 1 for each card type that you have the most of in your empire. You have, let's see, that's already like that one. Here's another, you build this one for the harvest. Instead of harvesting, one of your harvest cards, you gain 1 wood, 1 stone, 1 fish, and 1 razor. I mean, that's pretty powerful. It's basically saying, you can see that this is kind of a Senate or military production facility. I mean, they're very good at getting resources, the Romans were, and they were very good at allocating those allocating them however they wanted to. Bacchus's blessing, You can spend to build this one for each of these buildings that you have. Action, spend 1 worker and 1 food to harvest one of your harvest cards with an upgrade. So if it has an upgrade, you get to harvest it. And then the building bonus, you get that worker back. So it's just, everything's very plentiful. So it's interesting. It's a cool theme deck. I'm really excited to play this. I'm trying to play all of these. I think there's one of the Japanese decks I haven't played. There's so many games we're trying to get to the table. Let's look at the other one real quick. The Flavian are the builders of Rome. So they stood against fire, plagues, volcanoes, and endured them with all of their strength of their foundations. In doing so, they built some of Rome's greatest structures. The people approved and lauded the growth and prosperity. The foundations of the greatest city of the world would have crumbled if there were not for the Flavians. So the Flavians, you'll notice out of the gate, have something interesting. They have markers on the back of their cards that show you. These are called foundations, and these are on the back side of the card. And so foundations are additional costs that you would pay for some of these things. And if you notice, one of your resource cards during the harvest that you get to select is take 2 cards and place them out as foundations. And so you could place these out here. Now, well, what do the foundations do? The foundations allow you to additionally construct very powerful things. So here's an example. If you look at excavations, and basically you're just trying to build up Rome with this group, you see you need to spend 2 wood and a stone, but you also need 5 of the worker foundation in order to build this. And so if you do this, you take an action. You can spend 1 worker and 1 military foundation. You gain 3 victory points, and when you put this down anyway, you get a gold. So this is pretty interesting. You could put all these foundations out on maybe some of your weaker cards, and you could just cycle through them as actions and really stack up victory points that way. Additionally, there are ways to get these cards out without having to pay that foundation cost and without having to have them out. And so here's an instant during this construct, you may ignore additional requirements. So if you had this out, you could use this as an instant to ignore the additional requirements here, for this one. So if I'm trying to play with this deck, I'm trying to get as many foundations out as I can early, and then I'm using those to cycle into my more powerful cards, and then I'm activating those actions over and over and over again. And there are some pretty powerful ones. Here's another one. Here is the aqueduct, and so it has the requirements of 4 workers and 3 military foundations, and also 2 wood. And then you can spend 1 wood to construct or harvest, and then you get a building bonus of 1 star when you get this. And that's actually pretty good, because being able to construct or harvest multiple times using those actions is pretty interesting, because it saves your action token. You don't have to flip it over or use it. So you can harvest and continue to get everything that you need. So there's some pretty cool interactions here. I think this one would be pretty complicated to play. It does say that this one is an 8, and I would kind of agree with that, but I could really see how this would be a powerful deck to really be able to pop off some of those late game stars. This is one that you're going to start off slow, and the other kind of more basic decks are going to be constantly getting bonus points for in front of you, and then you're just going to rip off 3 or 4 activations of one of your more powerful cards, and you're going to take the lead. Really cool. I like both of these. Pretty interesting. Let's take a look at the location cards that came with the set. All right, these are the locations that come with the Roman banners, and nothing too crazy here. There's nothing that really makes me feel like there's anything radically different here. There are a couple of, cool abilities when you are able to conquer these, and you always are spending, of course, a razor or an axe to conquer. But there are, of course, the pillage, and I like some of these where it's 2 wood, 2 victory points when you pillage. But being able to use some of these actions, the actions don't feel too radically different. You can kind of see them for yourselves. The only thing I would say, that stood out to me would have been this one where Neptune's Treasure, you take an action, you remove one ship, you gain 2 gold, and then on the building cost of putting this out, you get 1 ship. So I think that's kind of interesting. I just thought I'd show you guys this expansion. It's pretty neat. If you don't know anything about Empires of the North, I'll put some links of how to play. Rodney Smith from Watch It Play did a really good one. I'll put that into the description below. Thanks for giving Shieldwall a chance.